Hi there, my name is Trills, and in this video we're going to play around and take our new Fire Saxophone for an ultra deep sample journey into the DAW. The Fire Sax is the follow-up to our Fire Trumpet, which is also an ultra deep sample instrument. They follow the exact same articulation set, so you get 6 different types of real polyphonic, true polyphonic legato patches. There's a deep assortment of ornaments and crescendos and short notes and sustains and everything you would expect from an ultra deep sample collection. The style is vibrant, it's confuquo, it has the fire from beneath. It's not necessarily designed for chamber music or a soft sort of classical piece, even though it might be interesting to use in that context, but it's more for more vibrant rhythmic styles of music, whether it's Latin, salsa, pop, funk, R&B, jazz, fusion jazz. You can kind of go even crazy, really experimental jazzy on it. I might do that as well. So it's really full of life that way, recorded with an excellent player in Colombia who really gave his soul into this instrument. You're going to hear in the video, it's clearly something that has personality into it, and it's something we keep on focusing more and more on with our instruments, that we want them to feel alive. We don't want them to be just a flat sort of parody of the instrument, but we want them really to feel alive on the keys and offer you as many possible options to come alive on the keys and just feel the instrument when you're playing it, and thereby making it sound completely realistic in your music as well. If you listen to some of the demos, they're a little bit of a testament to that. So let's get into the DAW and play around with the Fire Sax here. It's so vibrant and alive, you can't really go wrong. For me, I feel I can play saxophone, which I absolutely cannot in real life, but it kind of gives the illusion of that in the best possible way. So I'll see you in the DAW. Alright, so you can see how quick and nimble it is to play on the keys. Let me start by playing in monophony, and then we'll go into polyphony. I don't know if it's called monophony, that sounds like an interesting word. But I'll play it with a single note in the beginning, a melody, and then go into chords. The script actually allows you to do both things, and this is true polyphonic legato. The intervals are really triggered. It took us a long time to figure out how to get that to work in Kontakt, but it works on the keys. You can just feel it. And it's really nice to be able to play from melody into chords and get all these beautiful legato intervals triggered. We also have a much more romantic style of legato, which is more designed for like soft music, where you want a little longer, almost glissando-like transitions in your legato. So we just listened to the flat legato, which really isn't flat, it's such a bad word for it. But this is lazy flat, so playing really slowly and more sensually on the sax. And that one can be fun to use also in polyphony. You get a lot of that sort of slow ballad. Think about a slow big band kind of track, slow jazz. Okay, so that was lazy flat. Soft, sensual, slow, slightly sleazy maybe. I'm thinking like 80s style sometimes when I hear this style, but it can be really beautiful used in the right context. But we also have other styles of true polyphonic legato. Let's try it out here with the vibrato. This has a more exaggerated kind of emotional impact. When we talk about colors in music, it's often about microphone positions or whether they're using mutes or not. But we also got to pay more attention to the different styles of legato and vibrato and how they intersect with the melody in the music. So when you have this wealth of options, of true polyphonic legato options, it allows you to sort of dial it in. Do you want sleazy sensual sax? Do you want a more standard sax? Do you want one with more vibrato? Or do you want one with extreme vibrato? We can take it up a notch. All right, next up is the fifth true polyphonic legato articulation in the library. This is a multi-staccato legato. So you can play melodic lines, but you can also go straight into staccato from the legato, so you get those short notes. It's kind of an interesting way and more rhythmic oriented as the library is in its soul. Next up is our short staccato legato. So this one will allow you to play a legato articulation and then it's interrupted with a staccato. So it's good for sort of end pieces where you need to create a definition or some kind of ending to your legato with a little bit of attack and unique definition. All right, so that's the legatos, but let's move on into the crescendos and glissandos. We have a wealth of those as well. We're realizing the more instruments we record, the deeper we have to go into them to truly make them alive inside the computer. So yeah, you can mod wheel sustains and try to create a crescendo, but there's nothing better than the real thing. Let's start here with the glissando up. Glissando down, long. Down short. Crescendo short. Crescendo middle. And crescendo long. And we also have a UI here. I won't go too much into it, but it's a hybrid UI. So you can gate your sounds in a rhythmic sort of hybrid fashion. You can do additional tuning. We have a 4-module XY modulation matrix here if you really want to go deep into it. You have additional controls down here. You have our beloved chaos effects in here as well. But I see this more as an acoustic library. So for any of you guys that want to do hybrid, it's all available here. For other people that just want to stay natural, we'll stay natural. Let's go down here to our ornaments. And sforzando. I still find this a magical word, by the way. It's like sforzando. It's like, let's try to make it as hard to pronounce as possible. But it kind of makes sense to call it sforzando because it has a little bit like a I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, that's like, okay, initial attack, dive, and then up against sforzando. I have no idea what it does. Make no sense. All right, moving on here to the short notes. All right, let's move on here to the sustains. We got two different types of sustain programs. The first one here are all contained. So when I move my mod wheel, I can go through the dynamics. We also have another one down here where they're all separated so you can access each of the individual velocities if you want. But let's start here with the layered one. And as you can see in this patch here, they're all isolated. And we have them again in all the different velocities here, but this time with vibrato on them. flutter tongues. Trills in half notes. Trills whole notes.